I've loved fashion since I was a little girl. I remember playing in high heels at my aunt's house. My mother and I entered a fashion show. It was like a junior league fashion show in Greenwood, Mississippi. And we modeled together. Mother made my dress and her dress. I was a gaffer girl and did a lot of modeling for gaffers. It just sort of carried on. And then when I started teaching, added the show choir, then all of a sudden I loved the costuming part of it. It was just one of the things that just made me happy. I loved pulling together styles, colors, and all of that. And then other directors started calling me, wanting my opinions. When I got ready to retire, I realized that I still really enjoyed the costuming part. Some of my vendors, they were like, Dianne, you just have a flair for this. You should do this. And I talked to John, my husband, and things just sort of developed.
I think my vision was, we were going to build this business. I didn't know where it was going to go or how big it would be. But my thought was, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right.
Then we ended up going to Show Choir Camps of America in Illinois, and we showed our samples. And we had such an incredible, we were received so well. Really and truly, that first year just sort of set the world on fire for us. And we were like, okay, this can be done.
We had this dress that had it was green and had all these feathers all over it. And it was kind of sheer right up in here.
All week he said, I'm going to sell this dress. It's my favorite dress, and I'm going to sell this dress.
As we were loading up to leave, Fancy walks in.
John said, I think this would be great for your show. As he had told us about his show.
So I showed him the dress, and he loved it. And he said, that's what I want.
He loved the cutouts. He didn't want us to line it or anything.
We can fill that. He said, no, I want it just like that.
He looked at me and goes, I told you I was going to sell that dress. And those were the developing years where we were trying to figure out all of this. What do we need? How do we go from here? Joanna and Sydney Margaret, my daughters, have come on board. They have so much to give. And the great part is, first of all, just working with your daughters and being in there and, sharing and hearing their ideas. And the funny thing is, I look and I listen and I go, I think I've heard that before. So that's the fun part, is realizing they've picked up some things through the years,
I think that we all have that creative DNA running through us.
But to watch how it has just grown, and it's fun.
Oh, it is
I
fun.
think that's creative.
That's the fun part.
And so we realized a couple years ago that it was just a lot. She was super busy all the time, and she just needed some help, right? So,
right.
I think I realized at that point, there's a lot that I can do to make things easier for her.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite days are coming to work with her.
Sydney Margaret is, first of all, she's a little OCD, which is very good for the business. And she comes in here, she is our director of operations. She'll enter things on our spreadsheets. She'll contact different manufacturers for me also and work with the manufacturers. And then she also does the planning guides. Well, actually, Joanna started when I started. I mean, and that was a while ago, but I couldn't have done it without her. I mean, she's the one who always created the logos and the branding and helped, do the advertising and all of that for us. And
we've trained our whole lives to work with Mom. Because
she always has us on some project.
Ever since I've known her, she's always been classy and, knew what was coming, knew what was in style. And so that's one of the best things for directors today, is that she knows what color is the fashion for this year. She knows what style. I remember a couple of things when she started doing the jumpsuits. Nobody else was doing jumpsuits.
doing the strip dress and doing her first
Yes.
strip dress.
Oh.
Do you remember Thanksgiving break?
Yes.
When we went and
The-
we by hand
Yes.
sequined
And
the
the-
underdress,
And
the
then we
strip
had
dress
some kind of little machine too.
that we tried
got
and
it
it burned
hot,
and it
that-
burned all of our fingerprints
That
off,
was-
thumbprints
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she did. I think she won best costumes for
Probably.
that.
Well, she should
She
have.
should have
I
because
think
that was
she
our
did.
blood, sweat, and tears.
I really
in that.
think she did.
Yeah.
That was a good group.
That was a cool.
was a
That
good
was a cool
show.
costume too when they
Mhm.
spun out and
Yeah.
ripped that dress off.
My joy, I think, is in making it as beautiful as I could make it. The small little sample line, has grown and grown and grown. And now we are sitting here in this huge sample room.
Well, the boxes are a lot heavier, and there's a lot more of them. So that's been it.
But it's like the sky's the limit now. There's not anything that I can tell you that we could not make at this point.
To see how proud she is that she can
Mhm.
say, "We can do anything
Yes.
that you come to us and ask for."
And that is because of her vision.
Yeah.
Mom is never stationary.
That's right.
She is an innovator. We have
Yeah.
learned so much from her, and there's so much we'll never stop learning from her just
Right.
because she's been doing this so long and so knowledgeable.
Most directors do have a vision for it. So I think it's very important to listen to them, to hear what they're saying, to take those ideas and incorporate them into the things that you're thinking also, and go back to the director and say, oh, here's this idea. And then you tweak it, go back to the drawing board, and then come back, and that goes on several times.
The directors, it's so neat to watch them come in with an idea, and sometimes we can take their idea and create something that is exactly what they're
Right.
looking for, what they want. Sometimes they come in with an idea and have something in mind, and we're like go through this whole process where we end up totally opposite or different.
At point B
Right.
from point A, and then of course Mom's expertise in
Mhm.
sketching it out and
Yeah.
doing working with the factories to bring it to life.
I think what makes Dianne Holbert different from other costumers probably is the attention to the detail, especially of the quality of the garment. We try real hard to make sure that our customers are getting what they're paying for.
We are not Walmart for show choir. We are a boutique. She is a designer, and when a director comes to her and says, this is what I want, that director is not going to see that anywhere else.
You start something, you build something, and to see where it is now, and then to know that my daughters are involved and not just hit and miss. I mean, they're heavily involved.
We kind of got it down now.
In 10 years, I would love to see all of these samples in another house. No, I love seeing them. I love coming in here at night and just turning on the lights and just looking through everything. But no, in 10 years, I hope to see that Joanna and City Margaret have taken over this business. I'm available for whatever might be needed. We'll always have an opinion about design and color. We'll always have that opinion. But it will be rewarding to know that they've taken it under their wing. But thinking about those early years, it was, I can remember doing this, and my dad had, we just lost my mom. And so my dad would come over and sit and, sit on the love seat in this little room and watch me, and he'd look at all my files and look at all the figures and everything. And you could tell he was just so proud and he wanted to be part of it. He wrote speeches for governors. Oh my goodness, the things that he created, huge annual meetings. And I mean, it was just incredible, what he was able to do. And I do believe that those genes passed down to me, and I believe those genes have been passed down to Joanna and City Margaret. And I think today he and Mother would be the same way. She was an artist. There was nothing she couldn't paint. She loved color. So I get a lot of all of what I'm able to do from Mom and Dad, and they'd be very, very proud.
And now it's like it's, you know, a whole page is turned.
10 years from now, I hope we look up. I hope that we say, we've made mom and dad so proud of taking this business and growing it even more.
Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for you and mom and dad and, you know, all of our family. And, you know, I mean, Elizabeth has contributed.
And our Adam, our brother-in-law, bless his heart,
he's held more sequins.
Yeah, he helps load the trailer.
Too. I mean, they're huge
support.
We just want to do a good job.
That's right.
Continuing what mom has done.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at our nieces, Holly and Ann Margaret, we want them to be able to say, wow, look at what Di has done.
This is a legacy, and this could continue, you know, for years and years. And this is not going to be business and going to be sold tomorrow or be what, I mean, it's going to continue with the family that has built it.